Welcome back to another episode with Mitch, presented by Notorious Pulls Radio. And for this week's episode, we're going to be talking about UFC Fight Night, Holm versus Bueno Silva. This fight is going down in the UFC Apex on July 15th. And another honorable mention I want to make is our good friend Nazim Sadykhov is going against Terrance McKinney, and this will be the main event of the prelims. But before we get into it, if you are new to our show, please leave a like, follow, and subscribe us on all social media platforms. Holm is going to get another main event July 15th, and she's going against Bueno Silva. Obviously, Holm, the preacher's daughter, former UFC champion, is coming off a great win against Yana Santos. I mean, she has proved everything in her combat career, from being a boxing champion to being a UFC champion. She is an absolute warrior and one of the best female fighters in history, and that's in my opinion. She is a very complete fighter when it comes to the stand-up and to the ground game. Her opponent is obviously on a 3-fight win streak, having her last win against Lena Landsberg, which is via submission. She's already had 9 fights with the UFC promotion, and she's holding a record of 10-2-1. How do I see this fight going? How I see every Holm fight going. I see Holm piecing this girl up from the first round to the last round. The only thing that I can expect is to see how durable is Bueno Silva when it comes to the boxing sharpness and kickboxing of Holm. Obviously, Holm is a long time training out of Jackson Wink MMA in Albuquerque, New Mexico. She's been in the scene for a very long time. She's fought the best people in her division, has never turned down a fight from nobody, and is continuing to headline cards till this day. Super proud that I'm still being able to watch her main event cards, and hopefully we continue to see her success continue for many years to come. The co-main event of this card, we have Albert Duraev versus Park Jun-young. I like both these fighters. 2 scrappy middleweights. Obviously, Duraev is on a 2-fight losing streak. His last loss was to Chitty Bang Bang. He lost by decision. He also lost to Joaquin Buckley, which was via knockout. And prior to that, he's had a lot of canceled bouts. But he is a very game opponent. I saw him from his Dana White's Contender Series debut, going into the UFC, and still being able to get good fights for him. Obviously, Park Jun-young is on a 3-fight win streak, having all his last 2 wins, which were via submission. Had also a great win over Eric Anders, and just a very good fight IQ overall. How do I see this fight going? I see this fight going the distance, and as long as Park can keep himself off the cage and off his back, I believe he has the better striking compared to Duraev. Duraev's strength is obviously his wrestling, his ground and pound, that Sambo background that has got him into the UFC. But a lot of the Sambo background, they're studying it, they're learning it, and a lot of other gyms are incorporating it outside of that Eastern European Kafkas region. And that's what's making them much more dangerous, because they're respecting these Sambo background guys. They know these guys can wrestle. They know these guys can fight. It's not a style that you want to overlook when you're entering the octagon in MMA. I see this fight, like I said, going the distance, and I'm going to have to edge it to Park Jun-young to win this fight. I just believe he has a lot of fight IQ. He has really, really heavy hands, and he's not the easiest guy to take down. He actually has a very solid takedown defense, and I believe it's going to have to come up very, very strong in the Kona main event on July 15th. The next fight that I'm going to discuss is a lightweight matchup against Otman Azaitar versus Francisco Prado. Obviously, Zaitar was a former undefeated fighter before getting knocked the fuck out by Matt Frevola at Madison Square Garden, which was absolutely beautiful. His opponent obviously had his UFC debut against Jamie Malarkey, and he came up short. But he's a younger fighter. He's a very good fighter, Francisco Prado. I like what I've seen in his fights prior coming into the UFC. I just have a feeling that Otman has that bulldozer hands, and that if he catches Prado, he is going to turn the lights out on him. This is a good comeback fight for both fighters, as in they both only share one loss apiece. They were obviously undefeated prior to their last fights. So this fight is going to really test the both of them. I'm going to be leaning towards Otman when it comes to this fight because of his experience, and I do believe that he is a talented fighter and a very, very big power puncher when it comes in the lightweight division. And for the main event of the prelims, and really one of the biggest reasons why I'm going to be watching UFC July 15th, and that's to watch my good friend Nazim Black Wolf Sadykhov. He's going against Terrance McKinney. And if you don't know, Nazim Sadykhov and Frevola train on the same team. As you know, McKinney had a quick knockout victory over Matt a few fights before, and obviously Matt Frevola and Nash train, so this is a big fight and a nice little thing to settle the score for him come Saturday night. Nazim is obviously coming off a spectacular win on Dana White's Contender Series via knockout. His UFC debut against Evan Elder, he won by doctor stoppage, literally beat the brakes off Evan Elder. One fight of the night, and then later on, one fight of the month. The matchmakers know what they're doing. This is Nazim's second main event in the prelims, and he just got into the UFC. And obviously, you're seeing we're rocking exclusive merch coming out for Naz on NotoriousPulls.com. So we'll have that link below in the bio. Check it out if you want to support Nazim. This is an exclusive collab Notorious Pulls and Black Wolf have done. Guys, this will be a huge fight for our guy. This is going to be his best performance to date. And remember, if you want to show us the most love and you enjoy watching all this content, please subscribe to us on YouTube and all social media platforms. Thank you again, your host, Mitch.